This is still going to be a tough matchup for Keen in the early stages, but
you know, I don't necessarily.
A bit of a lane advantage as another dredge line is actually peeled through. Teddy's ignited already. The heal has to be traded. There's now Mystic trying to bounce around this lane. They do have the sustain though, and there is effort with the re-engage. Mystic might have been able to create enough distance, but the exhaust comes forward and he has to flash. Ben is going to die, and Teddy gets revenge instantly from that initial engage. But 3-on-3, while Cuz is just taking the Rift Herald, is exactly what T1 wants. And Spirit gets here just a little bit too late. Does have the Showstopper available. He runs so damn fast, but he's now in between Canna and the Volley Bear, not where he wants to be. Ben's going to turn up, but the Dawning Shadow just tears him apart. And Lucian's going to claim the kill. Keen also going to go down, and T1 absolutely winning this skirmish. That's a decent Fates call. 4-man Shockwave, but that's a very dead Orianna. Now Mystic's trying to fight 5 people, and that's just going to mean a double kill for the Lucian. That's an ace. 6-0 now as T1 absolutely clap Afrika.
Yeah.
But this stage of the game, I mean, just doesn't do very much as Effort looks for the Solar Flare, finds the slow, but not actually the majority of the damage. Oh, what? My God, what? Dawning Shadow does so much damage if you hit it. We just don't get to see that many of them hit.
To the point of, like, you can overcommit underneath the enemy turret and still be out of there, no problem.
Well, Ben engaged onto Effort, and the Dawning Shadow and plus Closer is going to be a lot of damage there. Closer goes golden with his stopwatch. Keen exhausted for a moment, but he's going to look for the Zoe and will find him with that flash and the perfect execution. Now Mystic's flashing also. He's safe for the minute as now Canna's trying to fight this one back. Maybe he's not at that confidence level just yet. As here's the engage from Afrika one more time, but Effort's just happy to be engaged on. As you know, Zenith Blade comes in and now Fly's getting culled. Great knock-up from Ben to make sure that they can't get too much done there, but Canna just over the wall, still able to get the double tap. However, Senna is dead. Cuz has been taken down, and now Keen running rampant. Perfect execution is going to land, but Canna just eats him up. This Lucian is gigantic, and Afrika don't even really realize.
Make sure that they end this one out as cleanly as possible.
Yep.
It's a little bit different from teams like Game1 and DRX that kind of just throw caution in the wind, as here we go.
Yep, there's the Zenith Blade. Oh dear, Ben is going to eat the whole culling and just get popped. Goodbye, Spirit. That should be at least the Cloud Soul, but it may just be Baron first, as Spirit was the jungler. Lands. Keen wanted to use it as a taxi. He has perfect execution available, and the bubble is going to connect. Dawning Shadow, a lot of damage. Ben explodes as well. It is going to be the Cloud Drake stolen away, but a double kill instantly occurs afterwards for the Volley Bear. It's another one going over to Closer, and that will be the ace. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is probably going to be the game. This should just be the game. I mean, Ben's going to respawn, but we saw he's made of butter, guys. He's just not the big daddy that we expect. From the Nautilus, he's being shredded down. There's the showstopper, but the show's over, Spirit. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go home. Not yet. You've got another game to play, at least, but the Nexus doesn't. It's going to fall. Fly, you might need to pay attention to the culling, even though you're on your fountain. It's still not safe here on Summoner's Rift, as T1 will dismount. But they decided that they didn't want to pick a different jungle matchup and thought set into Volley Bear was going to be okay.
Welcome back, everybody, for the second match of tonight, and T1 is extending their winning streak. Picking up a win up against Afrika Fricks, T1 is showing a lot of game style shift, and this time around, they tried a different comp. With a lot of ADC champions getting banned out, they were going for the Senna bottom lane, and the last pick was Lucian. It seems like, depending on the situation, Lucian can be a flex pick going for top lane and bottom lane. For Afrika Fricks, it's really hard to tell the concept or the theme of their draft, because outside of the pick and ban, they made so many mistakes in terms of gameplays. Yeah, Afrika did manage to get a decent pick, however their execution was really off. Seth kind of wasted his flash for a couple of times, and Seth was not able to show any meaningful combo with his Nimbus Clock.
초반부터 좀 경기가 크게 터지고 굴러갔었던 것 같아요.
네, 그렇습니다.
The game was pretty much over in a very early phase, and so let's take a look where Africa Freaks started to falter.
기본적으로 팀의 합이 안 맞았다고 보는 게 맞을 것 같은데.
It seems like all 5 players are not on the same page. Most of their moves are really questionable. Volibear was able to zone out Set, and Set was not getting any leash, so he had to solo the red buff. And Volibear popped the Scryer's Bloom, and they had vision on the Golem camp. Because they spotted the Golems are moving, they had the information that Set was on that camp. So Volibear was rotating to the mid and bottom lane. However, the bottom duos of the Africa Freaks was going for a trade. Maybe because they saw the Senna's W going wide, but well, there was not much information or reason for them to commit for that play. With that loss, well, they were able to snowball all throughout the game, especially Zoe was also able to pop the flash out of Oriana. If well, Sat has rotated to the bottom Subcribe, it could have been much better. Or maybe Sat could give the bottom laners the call that he's going for the Golem camp, so make sure to stay safe a little bit. Don't try to overextend during the laning phase while you have the information of Volibear. However, there was a double trouble for Africa Freaks as well. As they lost the Herald, they were feeling a little bit impetuous, so they went for a fight. Said he did not have his flash. Oriana also was not having his flash. And Akalia was also in a very far proximity, so he was unable to join that fight fast enough. And Lucian was able to pick up triple kills in this fight. Volibear is able to stay immune to some of the MCCs with his ultimate, so they have to be aware of the fact that he's really good at this kind of aggro juggling, but Africa Freaks, they weren't really playing at the best performance. They were being super emotional with that fight, so T1 was able to pick up a very easy win with that fight. Africa Freaks was feeling too much pressure, so they weren't really ready to commit for the place that they were looking for. Then let's check out who the player of the game is for game number 1. It was a very one-sided series coming out from T1, and Kana, the solo kill machine, was able to pick up the POG 8, 0 and 5 and 1000 POG points. But Pawn thinks that Cuz did a fantastic job. He also voted for Cuz. Well, everything was set up by Cuz actually, so Pawn is also flustered by this POG result. So there are some players that makes the plays, and there are some players that picks up everything in the end. And Kana, maybe his performance was outstanding, so he was able to win this POG, but indeed, Cuz was also one of the main characters on the side of T1, setting up all the plays for his teammates. And it was a very meaningful victory over to Lucian as well, a very flawless performance as well, so definitely Hana also deserves this POG. And now we saw that early fed Lucian is super destructive till the end of the game. So Kana is also gaining fast on BDD with his POG points, and he picked up 8 votes out of 12. And we had some fantastic husband and wife synergy coming out from Lucian and Senna as well, and it's time to move on to game number 2.